The inhuman attention span, mastering absolute focus in a distracted world. In 2004, researcher Gloria Mark at UC Irvine began tracking something almost nobody had measured before: exactly how long it takes a human brain to fully recover after a single distraction. Her findings, replicated in later studies, showed it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to return to the same depth of focus after switching tasks. Not seconds, not a couple of minutes, but nearly half an hour of degraded thinking triggered by one notification, one glance at a phone, one quick check. If you check your phone even 6 times an hour while working, you are functionally never entering real focus at all. You're living inside a permanent low-grade fog and calling it productivity. Today I'm building you an actual system for absolute focus, based entirely on real cognitive science, not willpower slogans. The first thing to understand is what's actually happening biologically when you get distracted. Every time you switch tasks, your brain doesn't cleanly close the previous task. A portion of your attention stays locked on it, a phenomenon researcher Sophie Leroy named attention residue in a 2009 study. This means when you jump from writing to checking a message and back to writing, you're not switching instantly. You're dragging a fading copy of the previous task with you, splitting your available processing power between 2 things at once, neither one getting your full capacity. This is why a 2-hour work session, broken up by 20 small interruptions, can produce less real output than a single uninterrupted 45 minutes. The total time was longer, but the effective undivided time was almost nothing. The second real fact is about what your phone does even when you're not using it. A 2017 study, published in the Journal of the Association for Consumer Research, led by researcher Adrian Ward, found that simply having your phone visible on the desk, even powered off, even face down, measurably reduced available cognitive capacity and performance on attention-demanding tasks, compared to leaving the phone in another room entirely, not using it, just its presence. The brain apparently spends real, measurable resources actively suppressing the urge to check it, resources that are then unavailable for the task in front of you. This single finding destroys the popular idea that self-control alone is enough. You're fighting a battle for attention before you've even picked up the device. The third fact concerns dopamine, and this is where most people misunderstand what's actually happening to them. Neuroscience research on variable reward schedules, the same mechanism studied in slot machine design by B.F. Skinner decades earlier, shows that unpredictable rewards produce a stronger, more compulsive dopamine response than predictable ones. Every app with an infinite scroll or notification badge is built directly on this principle. You don't know if the next scroll will have something interesting, and that uncertainty is exactly what keeps pulling your attention back again and again, faster than any predictable reward ever could. This isn't a character flaw. It's a designed system exploiting a well-documented feature of your neurology, and understanding that distinction matters, because you stop treating distraction as a personal weakness and start treating it as an engineering problem you can counter with equally deliberate engineering. Now for the actual architecture of absolute focus, built from real research rather than motivational slogans. The first pillar is environmental pre-commitment. Cal Newport's research on deep work argues, and behavioral studies on willpower depletion by Roy Baumeister support, that decisions made in the moment under temptation are far less reliable than decisions made in advance before temptation exists. This means the goal isn't to resist your phone through sheer will while it sits on your desk. The goal is to physically remove it from the room before the work session starts, so there is no decision to make at all in the moment your focus starts to waver. Willpower is a limited resource that depletes across the day. Environment design doesn't deplete. The second pillar is single task blocks with a hard boundary. Multitasking, in the way most people practice it, isn't actually simultaneous processing. MIT neuroscientist Earl Miller's research shows the brain doesn't truly multitask at all. It rapidly toggles between tasks, and each toggle carries a measurable cost in both speed and accuracy. Structure your day into blocks, ideally 45 to 90 minutes, where exactly one task exists, with a clear start and a clear end, rather than a vague open-ended work session where your brain never fully commits because it knows switching is always an option. The third pillar is what I'll call boredom reintroduction, and this is the rarest point in this entire video. because it directly contradicts almost everything content platforms are built to prevent. Research on the brain's default mode network shows that periods of genuine, unstimulated boredom, no phone, no music, no input, activate a different mode of processing associated with creative insight and problem consolidation. A study led by psychologist Stanley Milgram found that people who did a deliberately boring task before a creative challenge outperformed people who went straight into the challenge without any boredom first. Modern life has functionally eliminated boredom. Every idle moment gets filled instantly, and in doing so, it has quietly eliminated the exact mental state that produces your best insights. If you never let your brain sit in genuine understimulation, you are permanently operating without access to one of its most valuable processing modes. The fourth pillar is attention recovery, not just attention spending. Elite performers across completely unrelated fields, special forces operators, surgeons, chess grandmasters, train recovery as deliberately as they train output, because sustained peak focus without recovery periods produces measurable performance decay, similar to a muscle that's never allowed to rest between heavy sets. Structure short, genuine breaks between focus blocks, walking, staring at nothing, real rest, instead of filling every gap with a different form of stimulation like scrolling, which isn't rest at all. It's just a different category of input still taxing the same depleted system. The fifth pillar addresses something almost nobody accounts for: the compounding cost of context switching between unrelated types of work, not just distractions. A study from the American Psychological Association found that task switching costs scale with how dissimilar the two tasks are. Jumping from deep analytical writing to a quick creative reply, for instance, carries a steeper mental tax than switching between two similar tasks because your brain has to reload an entirely different set of rules and goals each time. This is why batching similar work together, all your emails in one block, all your deep writing in another, rather than interleaving them throughout the day, measurably reduces the hidden tax most people never notice they're paying dozens of times daily. There's a sixth factor worth knowing, because it explains why focus feels so much harder some days than others for reasons that have nothing to do with discipline. Blood glucose regulation. Research on self-control and cognitive performance, including studies summarized by psychologist Roy Baumeister alongside his ego depletion work, found that sustained attention draws on glucose availability in the brain, and performance on attention-demanding tasks measurably drops following blood sugar crashes from skipped meals or high sugar spikes and crashes. This doesn't mean sugar fixes focus. It means erratic eating patterns create erratic focus capacity, independent of how motivated or disciplined you actually are that day. And stabilizing meals is a legitimate physiological part of any real focus system, not just a diet tip loosely attached to it. Here is how you actually build this starting today. Before any work session, physically remove your phone from the room, not just the desk. The Adrian Ward research showed proximity alone matters, not just usage. Choose one single task, set a hard 45 to 90-minute boundary, and treat switching tasks mid-block as a rule violation, not a minor slip. Once a day, deliberately sit with zero input for 10 minutes. No phone, no music, no conversation, and let your mind wander instead of immediately reaching for stimulation the second boredom appears. Between focus blocks, take a genuine break with no screen at all, even if it's just 5 minutes of staring out a window, because recovery is part of the system, not a reward you've earned only after finishing everything. I want to close with an honest caveat, because absolute focus taken too far has its own failure mode. Total permanent hyperfocus without any recovery or social connection isn't mastery. It's a fast route to burnout, and research on sustained attention consistently shows performance eventually collapses without rest built into the system. The goal was never to eliminate every distraction from your life forever. The goal is to reclaim the ability to choose deliberately when your attention goes somewhere, instead of having it pulled 6 times an hour by a system engineered to take it from you without asking. Build one focus block today. That's the entire starting point, and it's the only part of this video that will actually change anything.